This is From Destruction to Dignity with Janice Pons. Each week, Janice shares her wisdom to enlighten, educate, and advance the culture in America today. Janice Pons is a mother, author, and free thinker, and your host for our podcast this evening. Now let's join your host, Janice Pons.
Greetings, greetings, greetings. Come on in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Janice Pons. I am the host on our podcast, From Destruction to Dignity, Clinical Perspective, Spiritual Truths. Guys, we've been on a journey, and we're going to keep going on one. It was kind of intense last week. Thank you, Mark Lennon, for the contribution of your amazing poetry that just really kind of put what's going on in our nation in a framework. He is absolutely talented, and we're going to continue to share some of his poetry throughout the rest of the year. So we want to remember our flag behind us represents our great nation and the citizens thereof and the 50 states of our great constitutional republic of the United States of America. We have our presidential seal here to remember to pray for the president, his family, his cabinet, their families, everyone on Capitol Hill. Why? We want America to do well. We want our posterity to do well. And everything I do is connected to our posterity and our nation. I care about America. All Americans, all. As my mama said, A-double-L, my 102-year-old mama. All Americans. And so we've got a lot that is going to be coming at us. It is going to escalate. It is going to heat up. You know it is, because we have a major election in November of this year. So tonight we're going to examine something that's generated a lot of discussion in our nation. The ball is in your court. Are there those who don't want you and your family to realize that the ball can be in your court? In that vein, it's important that we never forget about the staggering effects of empowerment, because when we grasp the power of the ball being in our court, in other words, there's something that we can do that affects our future, that affects our outcome, that affects our life, that affects our country. Listen, I'm telling you guys, that's empowerment. And the enemy of our souls and their political players that do not want Americans to have that kind of mindset. So tonight, from our clinical perspective, we're going to talk about empowerment, and we're going to talk about economic empowerment. Guys, there are things that I'm doing, and it's things that we can do as Americans that we can write our own ticket. Y'all can sit around on the sideline if you want to and belly ache and talk about what's not going to happen for us, and we this and we ain't got. Baby, you can write your own ticket. And when you got God on your side, are you kidding me? The parents of more than 5 million American children have already signed their children up for Trump accounts, while families were filing for their 2025 tax returns. Man, and I'm gonna tell you what, because I'm a senior citizen now. There was, in this big beautiful bill, there was a tax, a deduction for those that are the elderly. It blessed me. I got blessed. Oh, yeah. And I was like, huh? Oh. I was pleasantly surprised. Thank you, President Trump, for that advocacy of the elderly. I messed around and got older, and I appreciated it. And I appreciate what he's doing on the other spectrum of age with these children. The early surge in participation related to Trump accounts displays strong support for one of President Donald Trump's signature economic initiatives, a program designed to expand wealth building opportunities for American families and usher in what administration officials call an ownership economy. Am I talking to anybody? An ownership economy. Wow. Man, I get a 4th of July explosion going off inside of my soul, my mind, my will, my emotions, my intellect, my drive, and my desires. When I hear ownership economy, my great-grandmother was a slave. My daddy was born on a plantation in North Carolina as a sharecropper, had to quit school in the 6th grade so he could farm the crop. I grew up in Jim Crow being told, you can't trust them. You never know what they might do. Well, that may have been the case back then, but baby, I learned that everybody's not bad. All of them ain't bad, okay? Okay, and so I learned that it's about America, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Native American, everybody. It's about America. And as Americans, we can have what we call an ownership economy. You can sit on the guideline, letting some naysayer try to guide you and keep you offended if you want. I escaped the slave plantation. And do you hear the Democrat Party talking about these kind of things? Do you hear the Democratic Party talking about ownership and economy? The ownership economy. According to IRS data reviewed by more than, that they looked at the data, more than 5 million children, guys, 5 million babies, 5 million children have already been listed for the accounts. Now the ones that's waiting to be born, they can't get it until they get a Social Security number. Now, of this 5 million, this includes 1 million newborns eligible for a $1,000 federal seed investment. I had a black pastor, he sounded like a fool. I think I'm gonna send him this video. Sound like a fool, talking about, sister, we already got our own thing. And I'm like, are you gonna let the black men in your church, your black church? I don't believe in black. Anyway, it's the church. But are you going to let the men in your church know about this? Talking about now, foolish people. Sad. Let them know about it and let them decide. That's an example of being your own worst enemy and keeping your own people slaves. Slave plantation of the Democratic Party. Why? They don't want anybody to take advantage of these Trump accounts for these children. The accounts were created under President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill Act. And I benefited as the elderly under the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. I think it was an extra $6,000. I think it was $6,000 deduction. And basically, if you have a higher income, it reduced, but it blessed me. It blessed me, and I appreciate that. And it will be in effect until his administration is over, and maybe it will continue. But I'm telling you what, what's going on here, we're talking about the economy being boosted in a way that it hasn't been boosted before. You've got like Susan and Michael Dale, they're contributing $6.25 billion. You got it's a multi-millionaire in Connecticut. He's targeting a whole zip code of children that are underprivileged. If they have a household income of under $150,000, he is investing in them. And this money begins to work in an IRA type accumulation. The accounts were created under the One Big Beautiful Bill, just like the elderly one did. It allows families to open tax deferred investment funds for children. Oh yeah, newborns born. If the newborns are born between, I've talked about it at least 2 previous times, but we're getting closer to July and I'm gonna hit it again. Because we're talking about the ball being in your own court and empowerment. That's our clinical perspective. Newborns born between 2025, guys, and 2028 receive a direct $1,000 contribution from the federal government, while older children can participate without the initial seed funding. We're getting away from a cradle to grave nanny state that some people are just addicted to. This is why you've got This welfare to work program. You're not going to get enough $4,000 in food stamps a month unless you go and volunteer and do something 15 to 20 hours a week. And people are tripping out about that. Talking about Trump is making me go volunteer and work somewhere to be able to get my check and my food stamps. Well, Bill Clinton started it. And I was running a substance abuse treatment program for women and their minor dependent children. Those women were thriving, coming off of welfare and getting full-time jobs, and they were empowered. They were excited. Oh, yeah. And we gave priority to pregnant women who were IV drug users. If they were pregnant, they went to the top of the list of being admitted to that program that I was a director at. I love working with alcoholics and addicts. I do. And that's where I cut my teeth. And as a result of that, of showing them how they could be empowered, I was blessed to start a 30-day treatment program where 87% of the people were clean and sober and gainfully employed 6 months later. And I had people say, "There's no way that happened." Well, yes, it did. And they were like, "Nobody gets those kind of results." Well, when you're doing what God said to do, you get those kind of results. And I still know how to do it. What if we did that for the whole nation? The accounts. Let's get back to the Trump accounts. Oh, yeah. We're talking about doing something different. Newborns. Guys, we got answers. We got answers. We have answers in America for Americans. We're talking about these babies, these newborns who were born, if they're born between 2025 and 2028, this is 2026. I can't wait until my son has his first child. I gladly will invest the $5,000 a year, the contribution, and probably you have employers that are gonna match things. These things are gonna be matched, guys. I am going to get behind some people and push this, and guys, we can change things in Oklahoma and in other states as well. You just got to catch the vision. We're talking about the ball being in our own courts, and we're talking about empowerment. The accounts were created under Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill, and it allows families to open tax-deferred investment funds for their children, newborns born between 2025 and 2028. I'm very excited about this, can you tell? Receive a direct $1,000 contribution from the federal government, investing in them, not some cradle-to-grave nanny state. And the older children, if they're 18 or under, they can participate as well. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has touted the rapid adoption of this plan as evidence that the program resonates with working families. Am I talking to any working families? Guys, send this to working families. Earlier this year, let them get educated. This whole podcast is about provoking thought, bringing awareness, and pointing us to, as Americans, empowering each other, loving each other, uniting together towards interventions, things we can do together and support each other in the pursuits thereof. Earlier this year, Scott Bessent, the Secretary of Treasury, he noted that millions of forms had already been filed following a nationwide rollout and promotional campaign. Guys, these people not sitting on the sidelines. You take $1,000 and invest it the right way, it can be a life changer. My son, before he went in the military, I've talked about this and I'm gonna say it again, it's to prove a point. He gave me $500. Mom, I want you to get a Roth IRA and just put something in it every month. I put $100 in it. I started in 2018. I think I've invested about $8,000. It's up to $15,000 just by letting it sit there. Putting $100, he gave me $500, put it in there. It's tax deferred, put $100 in. I can waste $100 a month at the mall and going out to eat. Well, wasting. I see it as treating myself, and that's okay. But you got to be balanced with that. But we're talking about adopting a program that resonates with people that work and want to learn how to make their money work for them. I was not taught that. It was about survival. Growing up with a great-grandmother as a slave and a daddy as a sharecropper, they didn't have money. They were just trying to make it. Earlier this year, he said that millions of those forms were filled out when it was rolled out. It was just a promotional campaign, including a Super Bowl advertisement. Supporters say the accounts represent a fundamental shift in economic policy. One focused on expanding private ownership rather than government dependence. My God, I love that. I want to say it again. Expanding private ownership versus government dependence. No more cradle to grave nanny state. And that's the policies of the Democrat Party. Always has been, and I think it always will be. That's why they brought those illegal immigrants in. That system makes, and what has happened, makes people get set up with fraudulent scams and money laundering fronts regarding all this. Ain't gonna do this, ain't gonna do that. And the ones that are involved in running it, they get over on us like a fat rat. Did you hear me? In remarks promoting the initiative, Bessent described Trump accounts as listen to this, a singular moment in economic history. God, that's true. A singular moment in economic history. Guys, share this with some people. They're going to get it. God, let them get it. Let the eyes of their understanding be enlightened, that they would know the hope of your calling for every area of their life, including prosperity, including this singular moment in economic history. I had this black guy I was interacting with on a post, and he said, Trump ain't doing that for anybody. Baby, that thing already been passed. That bill's already been passed. He said, Bessent said, this singular moment in economic history could help make every American a stakeholder in the nation's prosperity. What's this podcast about tonight? The ball's in your court. With Trump accounts, every American child is eligible to receive a $1,000 contribution immediately invested in an index account. Long-term compound growth could transform those initial investments into substantial wealth over time. Guys, by the time they're 27, I saw one figure, they'll have $1.9 million. By the time they're 55, if they keep pouring into this account, they'll have up to $13 million. Guys, people retire like this all the time, but they plan it. They're taught it. Trump has taught his children how to do this. Where did this ingenious idea come from? This is how the man thinks. And I tell you, if I said it once, I'll say it again. If he had his way, all of us would be millionaires. He wants our children to be prosperous. Oh, yeah. The program allows contributions from parents, employers, and even philanthropists. I am coming for the philanthropists because they can get a tax write-off for them related to have at it. God bless you. They're looking for ways to have tax write-offs. Good for them. They can be a blessing to the nation and to the children, investing in the nation. They get a break, and the children get a break, and we get a break. Do you see it? Do you hear what I'm talking about? It allows contributions from parents, employers, and even philanthropists with annual caps designed to encourage steady, long-term savings. That's what my Roth IRA is doing. So that when I do retire, man, it's almost double. It's almost at double. Wow. Excuse me. Guys, listen. Beginning July 4th, right around the corner, families and others will be able to contribute up to $5,000 a year per child. Private sector support has also been robust. I want Oklahoma to grab this and run. Every state in the union, the constitutional republic of the United States of America. Guys, it's a game changer. Major companies have pledged to match contributions for employees' children, while philanthropists have committed billions of dollars to expand access. Listen, this highlights the program's broad appeal. The Trump accounts has a broad appeal. It's a win-win for everybody. Employers can contribute up to $2,500 annually per employee. So the Dells, they were like, okay, we're making a lot of money. This is a Dell, a computer right here. My computer is a Dell computer. These guys are multi-billionaires. They said, okay, we'll first they were going to just do Texas. Then they said, well, no, let's do it for all the nation. They're going to help up to 25 million children that are 10 and under by giving them $250. Guys, if you took $250 and just left it there until they were 18, it's going to be a whole lot more than just 250. But if you're contributing towards it, guys, there'll be people that'll get an extra job just to be able to contribute that $5,000. But you have employers that say they'll match it. They said they'll contribute up to $2,500 annually per employee for their dependents, which is generally deductible as a business expense. Good for them. And excluded from the employee's gross income. They win. The children win, the daddies win, the mamas win, America wins! Yay! So they win. The families win. The children are being set up for success. Business owners can receive tax advantages by contributing. The surge in Trump account enrollments comes alongside broader tax relief measures included in the same legislation. Guys, this is important for us to know. IRS data show that millions of Americans are receiving larger refunds this year. I did. I was surprised, pleasantly surprised. Driven by provisions such as eliminating taxes on tips and overtime and expanding deductions for seniors and car buyers. I am now a senior citizen. I don't look like I'm the age that I am, but I'm grateful to still be alive 69 years later. To God be the glory. And I told God I want to live, if the rapture doesn't happen, I want to live to be, my mama's 102. I'd love to live to be old centenarian. And the reputation that Janice will have is, boy, do you know how old she is? Boy, it's just a number, because she is vibrant and strong, and she's contributing because she's an elder, and she is pouring into the posterity of this nation. On average, refunds have risen more than 9% for the elderly compared to last year, with tens of millions of filers benefiting. White House officials argue that the results validate Trump's economic approach after what they describe as years of financial drain under the Democrat Party's policies. Guys, they were getting over on us like a fat rat, as evidenced by the billions upon billions of dollars that were sucked dry through the fraudulent scams and money laundering fronts. Just in Minneapolis alone, those Somalians, they were shipping out $700 million in suitcases to Africa. I'll leave it there. President Trump delivered the largest middle-class tax cut in history, a White House spokesman was heard saying. He emphasized that families are already reaping the benefits they are, with enrollment continuing to climb. Administration officials have said that Trump accounts could become a cornerstone. I say, God, let it be so. That it is a cornerstone of long-term economic growth empowering the next generation to build wealth and participate more fully in the American dream. Guys, at 18, they can put a down payment on a house. That's considered being a part of the American dream. God bless our children. All of them, guys. Oh, I see them on social media killing each other and baiting each other and inflicting brain injuries on each other. God has a better way. God has a better way for this country, and this is part of it. All of these dynamics reminds us of why we need to embrace the staggering influence of empowerment. More specifically, economic empowerment. This takes us to our clinical perspective. Guys, economic empowerment is the process of providing individuals with the resources, skills, and opportunities such as education, financial services, and property rights needed to do what? To gain control over their economic circumstances, to improve livelihoods, and break the cycle of poverty. It enables people to shift from mere survival to self-sustaining financial stability, fostering equality and agency. Guys, that's our lot in life. That's God's plan. And President Trump has set something up. That's a game changer, guys. We're talking about the ball being in our court. Guys, let's consider some key aspects of economic empowerment. Now, I want to challenge us. If we think like this regarding our precious children, all children, I don't give a rip about political parties when I'm talking about stuff like this. This is about America. And the Democratic Party won't give me any credit for it. But thinking like this can be life-changing. Guys, you better look at policies and vote accordingly. What is economic empowerment, and why does it matter? Basically, it involves gaining the ability to make decisions regarding income, assets, time, and investments. What are the core elements, guys? We got to think differently. Get out of that slave mentality and think differently. What are the core elements? Key pillars of economic empowerment include access to employment, financial inclusion, education and ownership of property. Remember, when children turn 18, they can start a business, apply to a college education or trade school, or use it to put a down payment on a home. So all of a sudden, they're going to be in real estate. Oh, yeah, that part. Here's some key target areas to remember related to economic empowerment. Focus areas often include increasing labor force participation, not being at home collecting a check, looking at TV all day long, looking at soap operas, looking at things that don't do anything to build you and expand you financially. Strengthening productive capabilities, actually getting a skill set. A skill set. Yeah. And enhancing decision-making authority. Guys, when you have decision-making authority, I thank God that I have that. And I don't abuse it, but it's a privilege. It's an honor. It's a blessing. I earned it. I worked hard. And me being able to have the decision-making authority that I have is a blessing for those who employ me, for those who are around me, because I am blessed to be a blessing. That's my heart. And it should be like, what would happen if we thought like that as a nation? Now, are there strategies for empowerment that we need to consider? Of course. We're talking about being strategic. What would happen if we had support mechanisms? Implementation often involves microloans, savings groups, and agricultural or business training. Could these mechanisms change the lives of our children, our posterity, or will we teach them how to fight and get out there and cuss and steal and shoplift and to be loose with their bodies? Or we sit them down and dissect this podcast, dissect it as a group, go over these things and say, guys, we're not leaving. We ain't leaving $1,000 on the table. Y'all can say we ain't or we are not leaving $1,000 on the table or $250. Guys, it's a life changer. This is the ball being in our court. What about policy and structural changes? Do you realize the power of overcoming legal, structural, and social barriers to ensure equal access to resources and just how critical that can be? You plan for it. You strategize. You talk about it. You talk about it as a church. Gosh. I go and post and I just get in there and blast these black men out the water. Are y'all going to teach you're going to teach your congregation how to do this? Y'all going to have a men's club meeting about this? Send this video to them. Send this podcast to them. Guys, send it. I want to provoke thought and bring awareness. And this is a powerful intervention. Guys, what would happen if we had development as our focus? Development. What about empowering specific groups, particularly women, marginalized communities, through targeted education, targeted programs, telling them how to take that $250 and showing these kids how to manage it and showing them how the growth is going to happen? What would happen if we actually measured the empowerment? What would happen if we teach this to our posterity? There's something called the empowerment line. The empowerment line. Guys, this is life-changing stuff. It's a metric developed by the McKinsey Global Institute that estimates the cost of a decent quality of life set at roughly per person per day in purchasing power parity terms, PPP. Purchasing power parity terms. Guys, are we taught like that? I wasn't taught any of this kind of stuff growing up. No. What's the impact of this? Achieving this level enables households to afford essential goods, including housing, healthcare, and transportation. What would happen if we purposefully taught and trained our children, our posterity as a nation, to have specific goals and outcomes? Would we possibly, by chance, oh my God, wow, oh my Lord, this is so powerful, have economic growth? Would we possibly have by chance or intentionally empower them to be powerhouses? Empower individuals to actively participate in the economy and reduce income inequality. So you can sit around and bellyache all you want to. Guys, this is like somebody just saying, here, I'm handing the silver platter to you. Invest, work, go get it. Am I talking to anyone tonight? Do you hear what is being presented to us as a nation? Do you see the power of self-sufficiency? Do you see why the enemy of our souls wants to keep families from this? Do you see why that silly black pastor said what he said to me? About, well, yeah, what's this? We got our own. We got our own. Why our own what? Our own what? That you would keep this away from families to make their own individual decisions? That's a slave master. You're going to control him from church and not even expose him. Some of these churches are nothing but slave plantations. Leave those places. Leave those places. The enemy of our soul does not want families to know these types of things. Remember, our soul is our mind, our emotions, our intellect, our drive, and our desires. Guys, this enables households to break the cycle of poverty and achieve long-term economic security. And guys, I'm going to say it, there's no such thing as a black church and a white church. It's God's church. Oh, God, stop it. Stop this divisive stuff, guys. It's not from God. It's not. This enables households, all households, to break the cycle of poverty and achieve long-term economic security. And we have naysayers repeatedly lying to you, telling the nation and telling black folk that Donald Trump is our problem. Donald Trump is racist. Donald Trump don't care nothing about us. Donald Trump put this in a big, beautiful bill. Do you see the picture now? I certainly do. What have we looked at tonight? The ball's in your court, and our clinical perspective is about empowerment. Guys, if I said it once, I've said it again. I say it again. We're going somewhere, and it's expecting us when we get there. I have poured my heart out tonight. I have so much compassion and conviction about these types of things because I know what happened to me when someone spoke into my little heart as a little girl and challenged me to think beyond what I could just see before me, the struggle, that I could apply myself, I could do certain things, I could study hard, I could write my own ticket. Oh, yeah. And so what I saw was that the ball was in my court. And I said, you know what? I'm getting ready to buckle down and stop being silly, and I'm going to stop playing games, and I'm going to get in here and study. And as a result, I was able to get a minority fellowship to Ohio State University after going to North Carolina A&T State University. I graduated summa cum laude, 6 out of 750 graduates. But I found out if I studied every day and buckled down, I made straight A's. Wow, okay. To God be the glory. You have to apply your mind. They say the mind is a terrible thing to waste. Yes, it is. And so then I got a minority fellowship, and so I leverage. And then I went to school, graduate school, to be a reading specialist, and then this woman met with me, Dr. Ann Anglin, I think that was her name, at Ohio State. She said, you know, you would make an excellent school psychologist. I said, what is that? I didn't even see myself doing that. And then she just sat me down and showed me a path. And then I realized, so I got that first year through a minority fellowship. And then I went on and got a graduate research assistantship. And you walk, guys, you got to take one step at a time. Then you can get in a position where you can write your own ticket. Guys, the ball is in our court. Listen, I'm a descendant of slaves. Great-grandmama was a slave. Daddy was a sharecropper born on a plantation, angry all the time, frustrated all the time. He couldn't even buy hamburgers for us because the Democrat Party's policies kept him from doing it. But it's a new day. I can go in any restaurant. I can slap my card right down, go in there, treat everybody else, be a blessing to others. You know what? We're blessed to be a blessing. Yes, blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. God has a plan for this nation, and I believe that the Trump accounts is a part of it. Guys, we're going somewhere. It's expecting us when we get there. We're going to continue to dissect these things as we go. From destruction to dignity, strategies, skills, tools, clinical perspectives, spiritual truths. A nation divided against itself cannot stand, but united, there is power in our union. I will see you guys next week. Good night.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of From Destruction to Dignity with Janice Pons. Janice's mission is to provoke thought, bring awareness, and point people towards intervention when needed. As a reminder, this show is not therapy, but for educational purposes only. For more information, check out JanicePons.com or follow her on social media.
Been set free, education, affirmation, dedication, information, revelation.